Shiva Mahapuranam, Vidyesvara Samhita, Chapter 4. The glory of listening, recitation, and study of the Purana. The sages said, O Brahma, how is the thinking, listening, or the recitation of Shiva Purana resorted to? You kindly tell us correctly the method of the performing the same. Brahma said, the adoration, japam, muttering, the qualities of Ishvara, pleasure and reciting of the name of the Lord purifies the mind, and it is called the thinking, which could be achieved by the grace of the Lord. This is the best of all the means. The prayer of Lord Shiva, which is offered with the singing of the Veda mantras or the eulogy offered in one's own language about the adventures of Lord Shiva, and the praise of his virtues offered with the sweet voice is called kirtana, recitation with music. This is treated as the middle of the path, by whichever means the words in praise of Shiva enter the ears, which are pleasant like the sports of the woman, is called Shravana or listening by the people of wisdom, which is well known in the world. First of all, with the association of the noble people, one listens to the merit of the noble people. Then the sound of Pashupati's qualities is heard, which inculcates deep devotion in the mind, ultimately with the grace of Lord Shiva. This is the best of means. Suta said, O sages, I am going to relate an ancient episode in connection with the means for the devotion of Shiva. In the ancient time, Vedavyasa, the son of the sage Parashara, our preceptor, was performing tapas at the bank of the river Saraswati. At that very moment, my preceptor Parashurama spotted Sanat Kumara moving on, boarded in a plane, illumining like the sun. In spite of having been in deep meditation, he woke up and offered his salutation to the son of Brahma and then asked him. He offered him Arghyapadya and the seat fit enough to be occupied by the gods. Thereafter, feeling delighted, Sanat, Lord Sanatakumara spoke to the humble Vedvyasa with deep voice. Sanatakumara said, O great sage, do you meditate upon the truthful Shiva Tattva? Shiva helps you, who could be visualized by the organs of senses. Then what for are you performing the tapas? At these words of Sanat Kumara, at these words of Sanata Kumara, the sage present there started revealing his thoughts. You hold in high honor the dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, and the path prescribed by the Vedas. By your grace, I have specifically consecrated my mind to the Lord in the world. I happen to be the preceptor of all in this world. The supreme knowledge of Advaita, non-dualitated, fails to develop in my mind. I am unaware of the reason for the same. Therefore, I am performing tapas for the achieving of the salvation. When Veda Vyasa thus spoke to Sanatakumara, then Sanatakumara highlighted before the Brahmanas present there the definite cause of salvation. He said, according to the Vedas, there are three best means for the achieving of salvation, which include listening to the good qualities of Shiva, Kirtana, and recitation, and the study of the same. Initially, I too had to wander following other means and started performing tapas over the Mandarachala mountain. Then Nandikeshwara arrived there at the command of Lord Shiva. He was quite compassionate on me, while Lord Ganesha happens to be the witness of all. He lovingly enlightened me about the best means for achieving the salvation. He told me that the listening, reciting, and study of the qualities of Shiva are the means propounded by the Vedas for the achieving of the salvation. These means were told to me for the achieving of the salvation by Shiva himself. He said to me, O Brahmana, you should resort to the use of these three methods again and again. Thus, speaking to Vidyesvara Samhita, the son of Brahma, mounted over his beautiful plane and left the plain. O ascetics, in this way I have narrated to you the earlier story. The sages said, O Sutta, you have highlighted three methods like listening, etc., for achieving of the salvation. A person who does not resort to these three methods, how could he be able to achieve salvation? Iti Shri Shiva Purana Prathamayang Vidyesvara Samhitayang Shravana Manana Kirtana Sreshthatva Varnanang Nama Chaturthadhyayah. Chapter 5. The glory of Shiva-linga. When a person is unable to adopt the three means of adoration like the listening and others, he should establish Shiva-linga in the form of the body of Lord Shiva and adore it daily. By doing so, he would cross the ocean of the universe. Without cheating the god, he should offer as much riches to Shiva-linga as he can. All the padarthas which are kept for the worship should be offered to the Shiva-linga as the form of the body of Shiva. He should always remain devoted to the same. He should build a mandapa, a gopura, and tirtha, a matha, and a kshetra for the sake of Shiva, and organize festivities as well, and should offer him costumes, fragrance, flower, garland, incense, lamp, etc. Besides these, various types of food, naivedya, fried sweet items, and other edible stuff should be offered to him, including the chhatra, flag, fan, fly whisk, etc. For the adoration of Shiva in the form of linga or the body, all the adorable material should be like those of the kings. After performing of pradakshina and salutation, one should perform the japam, muttering, according to one's capacity. Right from the stage of invocation to the stage of departure, the adoration of Shiva should be made daily with devotion. In this way, while adoring the Shiva-linga or the body of Shiva, leaving the three means as already explained above, the people achieve success in the worship of Shiva by his grace. With the mere adoration of Shiva-linga or the body of Shiva, many people were redeemed in the ancient times. The sages said all the gods are adored in the form of images. Then why is Shiva adored in the form of linga as well as the image? Suta said, O sages, this question is quite surprising and increases the merits. Lord Shiva happens to be its speaker and no one else. I have heard from the tradition of preceptors that this Shiva Purana was composed by Shiva himself, who himself is the form of Brahman. Therefore, he is called Nishkala. He is called Saguna because of his being beautiful. Saguna is called Sakula, spotless, and Nishkala means devoid of art or beauty. Because of his being Nishkala, he is called invisible or without form. The formless Shiva takes the form of Linga. Because of his being Saguna, he is conceived with form. Because of his having Saguna and Nirguna form with form or formless, he is called as Shabda Brahma or the best of all. He is always adored in the form of linga, or the image, or the body. Except Shiva, no other god has been called as Shabda Brahma. Therefore, they could never be called as Nishkala. This is the reason that no other god is comparable with him, who could be adored in the form of Nirguna or absolute God, because he is not but Jiva. Similarly, other gods are also there. Being the form of silence and absolute, and being invisible form, the body or the image is worshipped. All other gods except Shiva have Jiva in them, while Shiva possesses the form of Brahman. Because of his having the essence of Vedanta, and because of bringing to light the meaning of Omkara, the Upanishads are the witness. The same question was asked from Nandikeshwara over the Mandarachala mountain from Sanatakumara, the intelligent son of Brahma. Sanatakumara said, except Shiva, all other gods are overpowered by their devotees. In the adoration of other gods, their images or the bodies only are seen or are heard. But in the adoration of Shiva, Linga and their images are both adored. Therefore, you explain to me the topic in an easily understandable manner, Nandikeshwara said. Though your question relates to Brahman and is of secret nature, as such, its reply cannot be given. Still, since you happen to be a noble soul and a devotee of Shiva, therefore, whatever has been heard by me from Shiva, I am going to repeat the same to you. Shiva is the form of Brahman and is devoid of digit. Therefore, he is treated to be absolute. All the Vedas accept the form of the adoration of Linga. This is the Nirguna form of Shiva. Because of the association of the digit with him, he has the qualities of Saguna. As Saguna, Shiva is adored in the form of images. Except Shiva, all other gods are adored in Saguna form. The Vedas also admit the image worship. When the gods appear there in their concrete form, in the Shastras relating to Shiva, both his Linga form as well as the images are adored. Sanatakumara said, O auspicious one, you have mentioned above the worship of Shiva-linga as well as his images. You have also mentioned about Shiva and other gods. Therefore, you tell me about the genesis of the great Linga as well as the images of Shiva. O Yogendra, we intend to listen to the same. Nandikeshwara said, O son, you listen to me. Keeping in view your devotional feelings, I am going to reveal before you the factual position. In the first Shweta Varaha Kalpa in ancient times, and as is well known in the world, there had been a great war between Brahma and Vishnu. In order to remove the arrogance of both of them, Lord Shiva appeared in between them in the form of a column. Thereafter, Lord Shiva, for the welfare of the creatures of the world of the absolute Shiva, turned himself in the form of Linga, which issued immense luster. From that day onwards, the Nishkala form of Shiva came to be known in the form of Linga and was also established in the form of image, which bestows all the comforts and the pleasure to the people. But the worship of Shiva-linga as well as his images bestow welfare to the people besides the moksha. Iti Shri Shiva Mahapurane Prathamayang Vidyesvara Samhitayang Shiva-linga Mahima Varnanang Nama Panchamodhyayah. Chapter 6, Fight between Brahma and Vishnu. Nandikeshwara said, O Yogindra, once in earlier times Lord Vishnu was sleeping gracefully over the serpent bed, surrounded by Garuda and other attendants. At that point of time, Brahma, well versed in the Vedas, arrived there of his own sweet will and questioned the Lord Vishnu, who was lying in his serpent bed. He then asked him, "Who are you? You are sleeping like an arrogant person, even after finding that I have arrived. O son, you get up and meet me. I am your master and have arrived here before you." Finding the adorable preceptor having arrived before you, you are behaving like an arrogant person. The one who does so, he has to repent for the same, being a fool. Listening to the words of Brahma, Lord Vishnu was enraged within, but out of worldly, he remained peaceful and said, "O son, let welfare be bestowed on you. You are welcome. You take your seat here. Presently, you have an upset like face. Your eyes are carved." Brahma said, "O son Vishnu, presently, because of the influence of the time, you have become proud. O son, I happen to be your protector and the great grandfather of the universe." Lord Vishnu said, "The entire universe is lodged in me. You consider it to be our own, like a thief. O son, you have been born out of the lotus emerging from my navel. Therefore, you are not correct." Thus speaking, both of them started fighting with each other for the purpose of killing. Both the gods then started fighting seated over their respective vehicles, viz. Garuda and the swan. At that point of time, all the gods traveling in their respective planes arrived there in order to witness the astonishing type of war. The gods observing the battle, the gods showered flowers, which Vishnu shot several types of weapons and arrows over the chest of Brahma, which were unbearable. Thereafter, Brahma, also getting annoyed, shot several unbearable arrows and weapon over the chest of Vishnu. The battle of both of them was extremely surprising. Brahma shot the arrows like fire and also other weapons several times. Thus, the battle between both of them was quite surprising. Witnessing the battle between the two of them, all the gods became anxious and started discussions among themselves. Then Lord Vishnu was breathing heavily, having suffered from the war. Then the intelligent Lord Vishnu used the Maheshwara Astra for the killing of Brahma. Then Brahma, getting immensely enraged, making the entire universe to shake, placed the disastrous Pashupata weapon over the bow and shot it at the chest of Vishnu. Thereafter, both the weapons shot by Brahma and Vishnu appeared in the sky, which were like the 10,000 of suns and violent, like thousands of mouths, like the terrific and forceful wind. In this way, both Brahma and Vishnu fought with each other a terrific war. Finding these became, all the gods were disgusted and are anxious. In the same way as the minds of the Brahmana is upset at the fight of the two kings. Salutation to Lord Shiva, who happens to be the cause of creation, preservation, destruction, concealment, and grace. Without the permission of Lord Shiva, no one is in a position to destroy even a blade of grass. Thus, all the gods were frightened with that battle. There, the gods, searching for the house of Lord Shiva, reached the Kailasa mountain where Shiva was lodged. Finding him there, all the gods were delighted, and finding him in the form of Pranava, they offered their salutation to him and then entered his place. The gods found Shiva, the best of gods, seated with Parvati over the gems studded bed in the Sabha Mandala assembly. He possessed the best of symbols and whose hearts were filled with devotion, besides the damsels well versed in rendering special service, wearing moving fans. The Vedas were Eulogizing him, Shiva looked at the gods with compassion. O son, looking at the crowns of gods, Mahadeva, the god of all the gods, delighting all the gods, delivered welfare speech, blessing all the gods. He spoke sweet and pleasant words which bestow welfare. Iti Shri Shiva Mahapurane Prathamayang Vidyesvara Samhitayang Devanang Kailasa Yatra Varnanang Nama Shashtodhyayah. Chapter 7. Contest between Vishnu and Brahma, victory of the former. Ishvara, Shiva, said, O sons, who always obey my command, do you enjoy the pleasure always? Are all the gods and the creatures of the world engaged in these respective assignments? I have already learnt about the news relating to the fight between Brahma and Vishnu, observing your pain. It appears to have been repeated. Thus, O Sanat Kumara, speaking such sweet words, Shiva, the Lord of Parvati, pleased the crowd of gods. Then Lord Shiva commanded 100 of his gunners to move to the place where Brahma and Vishnu were fighting. Thereafter, at the time of the departure of Shiva, several types of large cattle drums were sounded. The Ganeshwaras, having been adorned with all the ornaments and mounted over the different types of vehicles, got ready to depart. Then Lord Shiva and his spouse of Parvati mounted over the chariot named Bhadra Ratha, decorated with Panchamandala. His son Ganesha and other Ganas also went along with him, in addition to Indra and other gods. Various types of flag and banners of different colors, the fans, fly whisks, rain of flowers, music and dance, accompanied with various types of musical instruments. Both Shiva and Parvati went to the place where Brahma and Vishnu had been engaged in a fight together with army. Finding them engaged in fight, Shiva halted, concealing himself with Parvati and the army. The playing of the music was stopped together with the movement of the army. At that point of time, both Brahma and Vishnu, in order to kill each other, were using Maheshwara and Pashupata weapons. Thereafter, with the flames of the weapons shot by Brahma and Vishnu for killing each other, all the three worlds started burning. Shiva also observed the destruction, which was the cause of great misfortune and ultimately dissolution of the earth. He appeared himself in between them as the form of a horrible burning column of the absolute Brahman. The weapons which were competent enough to destroy the entire universe fell in the column of fire produced by Shiva and were destroyed in a moment and reduced to ashes. Observing the astonishing and benevolent event of the destruction of the weapons, all the gods whispered among themselves, "What is this with an astonishing form?" Then Brahma and Vishnu said, "What is this pillar like formation, resembling the fire flames, which has been raised above? What is there at its top and the bottom? Both of us should find out the same." Thus speaking, both of them, thinking themselves to be extremely valorous, engage themselves to find the truth about the same. In case both of us go together, it would not be possible to establish the gigantic task. Thus thinking, Vishnu, taking to the form of a boar, went downwards towards the root. Then Brahma, taking to them form of a swan, flew up towards the sky in order to measure its height. Lord Vishnu, piercing through the Patala Loka, nether world, went too far. When Vishnu, in the form of a boar, could not reach the bottom of the column of fire, then he felt tired and returned to the battleground. O Vedavyasa, Brahma, your father, while flying in the sky, found the Ketaki flower falling. The Ketaki flower had been separated from its stem long time back, still it had enough of fragrance and had not been faded out. Lord Shiva found that both of them had been unsuccessful in their respective efforts. He laughed at them, as a result of which his head started shaking. Thereafter, the extending of grace over him, the Ketaki flower fell down. Brahma said, O king of the flowers, why are you falling? Who had held you? Then the flower said, I had fallen long back before the creation. This pillar appeared without any authority. I was lodged in the middle of it and reached here. Till date I have not been able to locate the beginning of the or the end of it. You also give up this hope. Then Brahma said, I have also arrived here, taking to the form of a swan to know about the same. O friend, you accomplish my task. You get along with me and speak to Vishnu accordingly, that Brahma had found the end of this column. You say that you are my witness. Thus speaking, Brahma offered his salutation to the Ketaki flower again and again, because it is not a sin to speak untruth at the time of misfortune. This has been propounded by the Shastras. When Brahma found Vishnu, having been exhausted and with a disturbed mind, then he started dancing in delight, talking like a eunuch. Brahma said to Vishnu, O Hari, I have seen the top of this pillar, and this flower is my witness for the same. At the instance of Brahma, the Ketaki flower made a false statement before him. Taking the words of Brahma to be true, Vishnu offered his salutation to the form and adored him in 16 ways. But Shiva appeared suddenly from the pillar in order to punish Brahma, Vishnu touched his feet with his shaking hands. He said, You have a body without a beginning or the end. Because of his ignorance, a person is unable to find you in spite of much efforts. O compassionate one, you be pleased with me. By an audience with you, all my sins have been washed out. You kindly forgive me. You kindly forgive me. You have done all this quite playfully. Ishvara said, O son Vishnu, I am pleased with you because you have spoken the truth, becoming desirous of achieving the form of Ishvara. Therefore, you would achieve divinity in the world and will also earn my grace. From today onwards, your images shall be adored in the different parts with festivities. Lord Shiva was pleased with Vishnu because of his truthful conduct, and in full view of all the gods, he bestowed on him equality with himself. इति श्री शिव महापुराणे प्रथमायां विद्येश्वर संहितायां अनल स्तंभाविष्कार वर्णनं नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः. Chapter 8, Shattering, the Pride of Brahma. Thereafter, Shiva, in order to shatter the pride of Brahma, produced an astonishing type of a person from out of his eyebrows. Soon after his emerging, he offered his salutation to Lord Shiva in the battle ground itself and asked him, O Lord, what have I to do? You kindly get me the command at once. Shiva said, O Bhairava, you better adore Brahma, the primeval lord of the earth, with a sharp edged sword, or kill him. On hearing this, Rudra caught hold of the hair of Brahma's head in his hand and severed his fifth head, which told the untruth, and got ready to kill him. Then your father, Brahma, shedding away the costumes and ornaments besides the scarf, having grey hair, started shaking like the banana leaves or the leaves of the creeper and fell down over the feet of Bhairava. Looking at the precarious condition of Brahma, shedding tears over the feet of Lord Shiva, folding both his hands, he spoke in sweet tongue in the same way a child speaks to his father. Lord Vishnu said, O Lord Shiva, by your grace, Brahma had been awarded 5 heads by you, out of which one has been destroyed. Therefore, you be merciful over Brahma. When Shiva was so prayed by Vishnu, then he stopped Bhairava from proceeding further in cutting off his remaining heads and said, Don't punish Brahma any further. Then Shiva said to Brahma, who had been deprived of a head, you played a trick in order to earn your worship in the world and becoming its lord. Therefore, no one on earth would adore you, honor you, or arrange for the festivities in the world in your name. At this Brahma said, O Lord, you always bestow the boons. You be pleased with me today. With the severed head, I consider it to be the salutation at your feet. O Lord, you are the close relative of the universe. O Vishwa Yoni, you tolerate the blemishes. O holder of the great bow, O Shiva, salutation to you. Shiva said, O son, the entire universe would get destroyed by fighting without a king. Therefore, you award punishments to the culprits and carry on the burden of the earth. I give you a boon which is difficult to get. You should accept it. You would be the preceptor for the Vedic yajnas and those propounded by the Smritis. Without you, the entire yajna would become infructuous. Thereafter, Lord Shiva, addressing the Ketaki flowers who appeared as the false witness, said, O wicked Ketaki flower, you disappear to a far off place. From today onwards, I would not like you to be offered at the time of my adoration. At these words spoken by Shiva, the god started removing Ketaki flowers and other related species from their vicinity. Then the Ketaki flower said, O master, with your present curse on me, my birth on earth would become infructuous. Therefore, you kindly forgive me for my sin and allow my life to be successful. With the mere reciting of your name, all the sins committed innocently or deliberately are washed out. Then, after having an audience with you, how could the sin of speaking untruth remain? Then the Ketaki flower thus spoke to Shiva in the assembly. Then the Lord said, You have become unfit to be offered to me because my words cannot be untrue. But Vishnu and all other gods would accept you as their offering, and your life would be successful. You would be used for the making of the mandapa for me. In this way, Lord Shiva, showering his grace over Brahma, Vishnu, and the Ketaki flower, after having been praised by all the gods, was seated in the assembly. Iti Shri Shiva Mahapurane Prathamayang Vidyesvara Samhitayang Shivanugraha Varnanang Namastamodhyayah. Chapter 9, Consecrating of the Shiva-linga. Nandishvara said, at the same time, both Brahma and Vishnu, offering their salutations to the Lord Shiva, quietly stood to the right and left of the Lord. Both of them then seated Shiva with his family over a high pedestal and adored him with auspicious padarthas emerging from Purusha Samkalpa. The things which emerge from the Samkalpa of a Purusha should be considered as long lived or remaining for long. There are some padarthas in them which could be given over, and they include garlands, anklets, armlets, crowns, gem-studded kundalas, yajnopavita, scarf, garland, silken cloth, rosary of Rudraksha, finger ring, flowers, betel, camphor, sandal paste, aguru paste, incense lamp, white umbrella, fan, flag, fly whisk, and several other divine presents which are beyond the divine gifts, mind, and riches. They also offered things which were beyond the ideas of the humans to Lord Shiva. O Sanata Kumara, the best among the well wishers, whatever the best padarthas are there in the world, they could be offered for the adoration of Shiva. Lord Shiva, on his part, in order to maintain ancient traditions, distributed to them all those present there. For achieving that thing, there was a great rumor there. First of all, at that time, Brahma and Vishnu worshipped Shiva. Lord Shiva, who always increases devotion, then said to Brahma and Vishnu delightfully, "Let both of you remain happy." Shiva again said, "O sons, this is the great day, and I am happy with your worship for me. Since then, the day is considered to be most auspicious and yields merit. This is the date dear to Lord Shiva and is well known by the name of Shivaratri. Whosoever would adore Shiva's image or a Shiva-linga, he becomes competent to the creation, maintenance, and the destruction of the universe. On the occasion of Shivaratri, whosoever controlling his sense organs, fasting totally for 24 hours, shall adore Shiva according to his capacity without deceitfulness, he shall earn the merit equal to the performing of my worship for a year. The merit equal to my worship for a year shall also be achieved by a person who performs my adoration on the day of Shivaratri. As the ocean increases with the rise of the full moon, similarly on that very day my dharma also increases. On that very day my benevolent function is performed. O boys, I had earlier appeared in the form of a pillar. It was the month of Margashirsha and the constellation was Ardra. In the month of Margashirsha, during Ardra constellation, whosoever has an audience with me, Umapati, or the one who adores my image, or Shiva-linga, he becomes dearer to me than Kartikeya even. On that auspicious day, one achieves sufficient of merit even by looking at me. But in case Lord Shiva is appropriately worshipped during that day, then the reward for the same is beyond the description from the speech. In this battleground of both of you, I had appeared in Linga, therefore the place will be known as Linga Sthana. O sons, this is without beginning or the end. This is a huge pillar, but for the sake of the human beings, it would become smaller. This Linga would be the cause of pleasure as well as the redemption. By having a look at it or by touching it and meditating it, one would be freed from the bondage of the birth and death. This Linga appeared at this place like the mountain of fire. Therefore, this place would be known in this world by the name of Arunachala. The place would become an immensely sacred tirtha. Those who would live here and meet their death here would be redeemed. Ratha Yatra would be performed here and the place would be quite benevolent, fit for human habitation. The Japam, Homa, charities performed here would yield crore times more than the ordinary merit. This would be considered to be the best of all my kshetras. The person who reaching here would recite my name, he would attain rapid salvation. Because of this, The region would be quite great and immensely graceful, bestowing welfare to all besides the salvation. The one who would conceive me as Lingeshwara in this linga, he would achieve Lokya, Samipya, Sarupya, and Sharshti types of salvations. The Sarupya salvation would be achieved according to one's own job. All of you would also get your own desires fulfilled. Nandikeshwara said. Thus Lord Shiva showered his benevolence over Brahma and Vishnu quite humbly. Such of the soldiers who had been killed in the war were brought back to life with showering of the nectar. Then the Lord Shiva said to both of them in order to remove their ignorance and enmity, I have two forms, viz. Saguna and Nirguna absolute. There is no other Ishvara except me. Therefore, they cannot have two forms. I initially took to the form of a pillar and then to the form of a human being. The one which is Nishkala of the two is the form of Brahman, and the one having the form of Isha is Sakala. My both these forms are established and could not belong to anyone. Therefore, neither of you or any one else can achieve the stage of Ishatva. Both of you, out of ignorance, believed yourselves to be the Ishvara, and the same was the surprising aspect. I have appeared in the battleground in order to remove your fallacy. Both of you should now shed away your pride and be devoted to me. Various types of bhavas, feelings, appear in the world by my grace. The words spoken by me as a preceptor are quite authentic for you. I am going to reveal the Brahma Sattva to you because of my love for you. I happen to be Parabrahman, I become Ishvara, and I remain compassionate over the movable and immovable creatures of the world. O Brahma and Vishnu, because of my being of all pervading nature, expanding the universe, I am Brahma. O boys, since all the creatures are equal for me, and because of my being omniscient, I am also known as Atmarupa. The Jiva is not completely the Jiva is not completely Atmarupa. It is Jiva alone. There is no doubt about it. From the beginning to the end of the universe, there are five deeds in the world. Ishatva, supremacy, is enshrined in me. Therefore, all these activities can be attributed to me and none else. Initially, my absolute form appeared in order to enlighten you on the subject of Brahmatva. Because of this, I remain in invisible form. I took to my Saguna form in order to appear before you. You should consider my present form as Saguna, and the form of my pillar represents Brahma. Because of the symptoms of the Linga, this would be my absolute form. O sons, you should daily adore it. This Linga is the form of my soul and bestows my vicinity. Both Linga and Lingi are inseparable. It should be treated as my form and should be worshipped daily. O sons, whosoever might have consecrated the Linga at any place, I reside there even without its consecrating. As a result of consecrating a Linga, one achieves my form, and with the consecrating of a second Linga by the devotee of Shiva, he gets absorbed in me. After consecrating, the Linga arrangements for its worship should also be made. The main task is the consecration of the Linga, while the consecration of an image of Shiva is metaphorical, because even after the consecration of an image of Shiva at a particular place, it cannot be described as the sacred place. इति श्री शिवमहापुराणे प्रथमायां विद्येश्वरसंहितायां शिवस्य महेश्वराभिधानवर्णनं नाम नवमोऽध्यायः।